Yes, Bafundi. So I'm going to be altering this dress. It is a very, very simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy alteration. But there's some fun tricks that we can do as we go. So, there's different ways to kind of mark now what's happening. Because obviously on the client, I pinned this. Some people like to fit the dress inside out and then pin it like that. I just like doing it like this. It's what I'm used to. So I'm going to sketch out this dress. And now I know that the camera's not going to pick up the pencil. So, here at the top, I've just got kind of a top section like that. I'm not going to stress too much. Then I've got the sides, like here with the arms. And down here on the side, this is where I'm going to do one portion of the alteration. And down the center back seam, so I'm going to do another portion of the alteration. So these portions of the side are quite easy because they start right from the top, as you can see there. And I'm going to measure that out. So that's about 3/4 centimeters. And now she does want this to be quite nice and tight. You see on this side it's 1 centimeter. And this, more or less 1 centimeter. Fortunately, with a stretch, it's quite easy because it's just going to stretch. So, I can see we kind of increase down here. So I'm going to measure, let's say, about 10 centimeters. I'll just mark where that is. Measure that, that's 1.5. So I can draw over here, I can just say 10 centimeters down is 1.5. And of course I want to check at this side. 10 down, 1.5, yeah, more or less. You always want to make sure both sides are reasonably the same. So I can see we actually continue about 1.75 really, if we get down there. Or should I stay at 1.5? I think actually we stay 1.5, yeah. So let's stay at 1.5 for, should we make it another 10 centimeters? Let's make it another 10 centimeters on that curve. You want to be as accurate as possible, but you also have to balance. You don't want to put like an 8.5 centimeters here. It's really not going to make that big of a difference. And also, now when we draw this curve, if there's any like weird kink somewhere, we are just going to smooth that out. Yeah, and then lastly we can see where it comes like back to the original seam. It's going to be, let's make it 8 centimeters. Back to the original seam. So then I'll just write there 8 and 0, meaning back to the original seam. Then this one here, this is the center back. So here I could, if I wanted, measure it up from here. But that might be a little bit inaccurate or a little bit difficult to measure, or for whatever reason, like
because your back is go.
Sometimes this portion here, like now if I get on the inside, okay, this actually is going to be easy peasy. I can just measure from there down to where I start. But maybe like a suit back, I find it's difficult when you get on the inside to really measure from the exact top. So here I just put a little tag, like so. So that I know where my alteration is starting. So it's starting up here, and then on my
So on the sides and on the center.
yeah, sides in. So often here, like obviously, this one I'll remember, but there I'll just say same. So if I'm giving this to someone else, then obviously what's happening this side is happening that side. And then, yeah, here I'll just mark the 0. And let's see. So 0 meaning, the original. Yeah. Maybe I'll do, let's say 9 centimeters. And that will be, it's going to be 1. Let's do 1 centimeter. And that one, I don't know if I want to go all the way to 1.5. No, let's go 1 there. 9 down. We'll make it 1 1/4.
So quite precise, Benjamin.
It kind of depends. Also when I draw it, I'll make sure it's a smooth curve so that it's not wonky anywhere. So here, I would feel if I did it at 1, it's too little. If you look where the pin is. Pin is almost to 1.5. So 1.25, I feel it's going to be fine. And also, at least this is a stretch. So if it is a bit tight, it's not going to kill anyone.
It's forgiving.
It's just going to stretch onto your body. So 10 centimeters down is back to 0. So from there, this is a really simple one. Usually, you have to open the lining and all of that.
So this is what is this? Just the dress?
Yeah, this is a very, very plain dress. Here's the armhole. This is like a bow kind of situation. So here, I really just need to unpick that little stay stitch there, so that can be flat, and then I can iron the seams flat. That's what's happening. It's really nothing too exciting. That's all been ironed, and now I can just mark, from the original join line to where I want it now. It's 1 centimeter, 10 centimeters down. It's going to be 1.5. 10 centimeters down, measuring kind of on that curve. Another 1.5. And then 8 centimeters gets us to 0. And then I can just go with my eyes. It does help, to have the same person who did the pinning do the sewing, because then you can really know kind of your client's body and what the shape is. So it just makes it easier to interpret. But otherwise, obviously you just want that to be nice and smooth. So yeah, nothing too interesting. The only thing from here, it is a stretch. So I'm going to stitch this with a zigzag action. A very narrow and very long zigzag, so that it still has a bit of stretchiness in the seam. And then I'll just leave all of this extra in there. I won't bother to cut it off, because that's just going to go into the ocean and choke it off in. So I may as well just leave it there. Yeah, so that is all stitched. So here, you can, if you want, trim down this seam allowance, because it is quite a lot. For me, 2 centimeters is my max, and this is like, this is 2 centimeters seam allowance. So I won't trim it down from there. But what I did do, I ironed that, and I just stretched that bit of the seam allowance out. On a stretched fabric, it's kind of a waste of time, but it makes me feel better. Just so that when it folds, it doesn't bunch and distort the fabric.
So how do you stretch it out?
Just with the iron, you'll put the iron and you'll just like so. And yeah, you see it's with a zigzag, so there's a lot of stretch in that stitch. You can always double check yourself by just stretching it out, making sure that it doesn't snap anywhere before you give it to the client. Yeah, so the last thing, I'll just come back and redo that stay stitch that was there. Just making sure that
doesn't open up again.
Yeah, that seam allowance is just pressed to the back, and it gives a bit of security right there under the arms.